Hey everyone, I wanted to make a quick video for those of you out there with the third generation Toyota 4Runner and the 5VZ FE engine who are trying to remove your crossover pipe from behind the engine. I watched a number of different videos, I read a number of different write-ups online, and I actually had to mix a little bit of each one of those videos for what finally worked for me to remove the crossover pipe. So here's what I did, and I hope that it helps at least one of you out there. Now in the engine bay, I removed the air intake, I removed the passenger side exhaust manifold, and the real trick today that finally solved it for me was removing the starter. You're going to need to do all of that here in the engine bay. You do not need to remove anything on the driver's side other than, of course, the bolts that attach to the crossover pipe. Now, underneath the car, there are some videos that talk about having to drop the transmission. What you're actually going to need to do is get your jack. This is what worked for me anyway. Get your jack, jack up the transmission, remove the support beam, and then jack the transmission up all the way. There's another video where the guy was able to do it by lowering it all the way. What worked for me was raising it all the way up. You're going to remove the support beam. You're going to need to remove the catalytic converter. Fortunately for me, these bolts cracked loose and didn't cause an issue. And then up here, you'll then have plenty of space. You'll want to remove the bolts to loosen the brake line on this side just so it can move around freely in case it needs to move out of the way. And of course, take out your dipstick here. Once you do that and jack the transmission up as high as it'll go, the crossover pipe will be able to rotate all the way around, and then it's going to kind of slide down just a little bit. Once it dropped just slightly, I needed to lower the transmission only an inch or two. If you look, right now it's sitting just below where the support beam would be. Once I did that, it freed up the crossover pipe to rotate towards the back of the car, and then I was able to slide it along here and then drop it down right here. What was also very important to me was I did not want to damage any of the insulation along the firewall, and I didn't want to have to just muscle the crossover pipe out and risk damaging any of the other brackets, clips, or anything anywhere in the engine. Like many, my studs snapped when I was trying to loosen these to remove them to replace the gaskets here. Unfortunately for myself, what I thought was going to be an hour project to replace $10 gaskets turned into a week and a half of trying to figure out exactly how I could remove the crossover pipe without having to cut it out and replace it and do some other sort of crazy work of some kind. I did think that I was going to have to try to use extractor bits, things like that. I could just not get a direct, clear, strong angle to break those loose. And now that I have the crossover pipe out and I was hitting it with a torch and with some really strong pliers and putting my weight into it, and those are not budging, there's no way I would have been able to do that underneath the car, trying to attack it from the bottom in an upward angle. So I'm glad I was able to get my crossover pipe out. I hope that this helps at least one person out there that was struggling like myself. So again, take out the airbox, take out the passenger exhaust manifold, take out the starter. That was a trick for me. Raise up the transmission, take out the support beam, take out the catalytic converter, raise the transmission all the way up, rotate the crossover pipe, drop the transmission about 2 inches, at least for me, and then rotate the crossover pipe out towards the back of the car, and you're good. Hope this helps. Good luck, everyone.